Hello and welcome to the Third Half Podcast. My name is Jamal Tucker. With me is Javon Gapor as usual. Gap, how are you doing?
All is well, happy a little bit, Everything looking up, so.
Everything looking up?
I give them an update today.
All right, today is Sunday, November 21st. We've moved to a bi-weekly schedule for the time being. But today, we're doing the normal stuff. We're discussing the managerial musical chairs that's going on at some of Europe's top clubs. We'll also be looking at the uncertain future of the Reggae Boyz manager. We'll be talking some World Cup qualifiers, both at home and abroad. And Gap has something that he's upset about as usual. But we're talking about the World Cup qualifiers. They've been concluded, the group stage anyway, and we know now who are in, we know who's going to miss out, and we know who's in the playoffs. We'll get into the playoffs in a minute, but first, the qualified teams are Germany, Denmark, England, France, Belgium, Holland, Croatia, Spain, and Switzerland, right? The playoff teams are Portugal, Italy, Sweden, Russia, Scotland, Wales, Poland, North Macedonia, Turkey, Ukraine, Austria, and Czech Republic. I think, for obvious reasons, those first two are the most interesting.
They should just give Portugal, Macedonia in the playoffs. Come on.
Well, is that a straightforward thing? It's a group, yeah?
I know. Yeah, true. So Macedonia, can they in another group there? Whatever group Portugal in, put Macedonia in there.
So, hold on. You got to build people in group. Brother, them have a draw, and them are going to draw from seeded and non-seeded teams.
But is the torch handing over that quickly, though? No Ronaldo in World Cup, bro?
I know. Ronaldo World Cup, man. A Champions League of him thing.
Yeah, but I want to see him in World Cup. So either way, I might go. So I have a feeling he will go to the World Cup either way. I feel him think this, believe for this.
Right. They do it all the while. I remember said in a playoffs, he scored that hat-trick against then Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
You get me saying?
He live for the spotlight like that.
I think so. So I'm not really worried about them like that.
The main thing for me though is Italy. What a fall from grace. They're about to miss another World Cup. It's been like, how much World Cup they miss now in the past couple World Cups?
It's not a lot. It's just they
missed like two, no? In the past like 5.
The Euros as well.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Not the last one, obviously, which they won. The one before that.
Right. But they've been missing out on major tournaments lately. I thought they regained that Italy thing.
Right.
Where them come back to be one of the best nations in the world or whatever, but I don't know. I think they will do it though.
Yeah, look, they still are one of the best nations in the world. It's just, like it says, a blip. Take even Portugal, for example. All they needed was a win to secure their spot. And what they ended up doing was draw and then lose.
Right.
It's just one of them things. And they lost to the team that was directly rivaling them. You can group? In them group,
yeah, man,
at 20 points Serbia done pan and at 17 Portugal done pan.
It was a very competitive group.
No, it was just the two of them. The rest of the group was pathetic.
Them did not go head to head with each other in terms of me I got dump up aside, you dump up aside.
Right.
Them just fall
right
one shot. Yeah. But as it relates, I want to go back to Italy because there is this guy that is being in the talks for Ballon d'Or. I'm pretty sure Jorginho will bring them through the playoffs, right? The Ballon d'Or winner, right? So I shouldn't be concerned about Italy either.
Well, who knows? Maybe by March when they play the match, we'll find out who actually wins it, and it's probably not going to be him. But the guy who probably will win it is also in the playoffs, Lewandowski with Poland, right? And this is obviously my take. Lewandowski should win the Ballon d'Or, but Poland is in the playoffs. Poland, the rest of the team, they have good players, but they aren't exactly star-studded in that way.
Right.
They're a solid team, but then there are a couple other solid teams here. Sweden is a solid team, Russia as well. I'd say Turkey and Ukraine are. Austria is up and down, and I think Czech Republic is enjoying a good moment right now. I wouldn't call them one of the stronger ones. And we have Scotland and Wales who I suppose are decent teams, but they don't exactly stack up to the rest of the bigger guns in Europe. So,
but all those teams that you mentioned just now have the talent to do damage still, you know, to
yeah, of course,
surprise us.
because that's what I was going to say to you, know, that Italy and Portugal are outliers, because right now I'm looking at where all of these teams have equal chance, basically.
Right.
You know, with the exception of maybe North Macedonia, but I don't want to chant them down because them going to Europe in a Euros where they played well. They didn't do great, but they played well, you know. So who knows? Maybe them get Czech Republic and Ukraine in them group and beat the two of them. You don't know. You get me?
Yeah.
But I think because there's 3 of them come out of this playoff things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're looking at Portugal, Italy, and Turkey.
Yeah, I think Switzerland is in the playoffs as well.
No, they're
Sweden.
Sweden.
I mean Sweden.
Yeah.
I like Sweden. I like Luka Sweden.
You think?
Especially in the Euros, they did them thing in the Euros as well. So Forsberg and them, I think I like them. I like their chances.
Lindelof in them backline. Lindelof in them backline.
Big baller. Man United, great. But yeah.
All right. So you say Sweden then. So Portugal, Italy.
Sweden.
And Sweden. I mean, say Portugal, Italy, Turkey. You want to put some money on it?
I mean, I'm not going to bet on Lindelof. Come on.
All right. But some of the teams that missed out from the Euro qualifiers, though, we have Iceland, Norway, Austria, and this might not be a name that everybody is gravitating towards, but Bosnia, Herzegovina are out. Why I think that's not so much for the team themselves, but you know, certain stars they will miss out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have a few household names. Edin Dzeko and Pjanic are among the leaders of that group, and you know, so some players like that would miss out. Austria similarly have a number of name brand footballers. Right. You know, Alaba, the captain, is the obvious one.
Sabitzer and them.
Right, Arnautovic and guys like that. Iceland though, that one was really more of a sad thing from the Hearts perspective, because you know them. Well, I like them. They went to the 2016 Euros and they did what they did. They got to the semis, I believe. And you know, the Viking clap is just the most amazing thing I ever saw at the time. And I just think that for a small nation like ourselves, for them to do what they've done is impressive. And
True.
And frankly, I've been following them since that. I've been interested in what they do. And I got to the World Cup in 2018. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a team who have some amount of potential. So it was a little disappointing when I saw that they fell off so much, because I think they finished 5th in the group, so they weren't even close.
Damn.
Yeah. And Norway, why Norway is interesting is because
Norway for me is the big one.
Yeah.
Because I hope it doesn't turn out to be a case of Erling Haaland don't end up in these major tournaments or do well just because he's from a nation like Norway. You get me? I hope they can find Odegaard needs to find some form, and the others that they have over there. Because I want to see. I'm touting Haaland as one of the
goats to be
ones, right? Exactly, to take over from Messi and Ronaldo and stuff.
Him and Mbappe.
Right, and I wouldn't want to see, because of that team, miss out on tournaments like World Cup and
right. And it's happened before. Many players end up in like these kind of countries that aren't name brand countries, then for lack of better words, and nothing really come of it.
Yeah, the Zlatans of the world.
Right. I mean, my name's Zlatan. He's featured, but they've never actually been able to challenge.
Right, exactly.
Man like Ryan Giggs, though, who had a fantastic club career and did barely anything for Wales.
Right. So I don't want it to be a case like that for Ireland.
I don't think it will be, because they have other decent players. And then you have to remember, even for the lack of squad members that they have, Erling Haaland is a beast.
Yeah. And
at the end of the day, goals are the currency of football.
True.
And this is a man that produces in bags. You get me? So I think he'll probably drag them through a couple of these qualifiers over the years. But definitely in terms of right now, it's a little more than a little disappointing to not see him there, because that would have been really interesting. Because the World Cup is the World Cup. It's the premier international competition.
I'm done now. Go see Liam Bailey and them man there the World Cup. So I need to see Ireland, Erling Haaland, So
well, all right. It's probably the worst time in history to be a football manager, I think.
Fucks.
Because you have to deal with a pandemic and then the economic fallout of that, and on top of all of that, you just get fired whenever. So it's not been a great time.
Looking now.
You know, one of the biggest stories right now, and we're recording this on Sunday the 21st of November. Yesterday, Saturday the 20th, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had probably his worst day at Manchester United. I say it's his worst day because he's had some bad days, but he had an embarrassing defeat by Watford. And on top of that, he got sacked later in the day. So that's probably your worst day, you know?
And saying it was an embarrassing result is an understatement. It was horrible. It was. I think his reign has been worse. This season is worse than Moyes' one season that he had at Manchester United. I'm going to go as far as saying that it is horrible. The teams will lost again in the manner that we lost.
Yeah.
It is. You can't. There's no excuse for it at all. You know. And I'm sad. I'm upset about it because I wanted him to succeed. You know. I wanted him to actually do him what we wanted, because that's not what we brought him in for to begin with. You know, the initial thing was for him to come and get the ship going again.
Because that's the thing. The job that he was brought in to do, he's done it.
Right.
And I think he's done it admirably. It's just that, all right, so you've done it to a level, so more is expected of you. So he was a victim of his own success in that way. You know, but then the truth is, you never got the sense that he could take United to the next level. You thought he could continue to keep them on the right path, and he has done. But now it's time to get to the next level, and trophies and sustained success was probably a bit further than he was able to manage.
Yeah, it would have been a bonus. And the thought of him bringing us to the next level was more from a hopeful standpoint, rather than we know that he could or thought he could. It was more of hope. So it was it's the right decision. You know, now we can't stop bothering Ole and go back to the board, which is the main problem.
That is the main problem.
Because now we're going to cost the board at some point for the next appointment. Because no them are going to mess it up.
Right, because, I mean, Ole probably wasn't the best appointment to begin with. That's the truth of it. He came in and did well, so they were proven right to an extent. But now, back to square one again, because you need to get a proper manager in. And there's some names going around. We won't get too much into them right now, but you have Zidane for one. I like that option. Yeah. You have Erik ten Hag. He's over at Ajax right now. I'm very interested to see what he could do. So I hope they consider it. You have Ralf Ragnick.
The new flavor of the month, apparently.
Well, I tell you what, he's actually been around town, you know, but overlooked.
Right.
You know, because the Gegenpress that Jurgen Klopp uses is something that is famous for him. But he was Ralf Ragnick was actually the guy that really kind of brought it to the fore. And he's inspired a lot of the German managers that are around now, Tuchel and the rest of them. And German managers are some of the best in the world. And he was that guy that kind of really started that revolution for them.
Yeah, and I'm not going to act as if I knew him all this time, because when I heard the name, I was like, who is this? But when you go on Wikipedia and you read about you're like, I know of this era. I know that this happened. Exactly. But I just didn't know that this is the guy who did it.
Exactly.
You know, you hear about the RB, the Red Bull whole franchise being reignited, and that was him. But you saw it that where them Red Bull team come from and just a star, but you never know, it's him that did it. So you know of his work, but not him.
And I tell you something, well, before I say that, a couple of the other names, you have some international managers being considered. I don't think those are real options until after the World Cup, to be honest, because nobody now left the World Cup. And these are top managers of top teams.
Countries.
You get me? Because you talk about Spain manager, you talk about Belgium manager, I don't know why. You get me? Like, these guys aren't going anywhere. But then I think Ralf Ragnick should be the man. But for a long time.
All right.
Because in addition to being tactically astute, his man management hasn't exactly been the best, but not every German has it, to be honest, because Tuchel is a difficult man to get along with as well. But he came in at Red Bull, and what he did at Red Bull, in addition to the football side of managing the football there, he also kind of structured the club. He brought some stability to the club in a way that United desperately need. Because Ed Woodward, who's leaving soon, thank God, and the Glazers and all the people that are in the executive, they aren't football people.
All right.
95% of them are not football people. You get me? So you need somebody then who's a strong voice, who is a football person that knows what they're doing, and he has that track record.
All right.
And because we're talking about the Red Bull franchise, as you mentioned, Salzburg and Leipzig. You get me? These are two big clubs in their respective countries, and he's done it across both of them. You know, and they're a commercial entity, not to the level of United, but in that same vein.
Right.
So in my mind, that just says to me that he's more than capable of leading a team like United to doing what they need to do. Right now, it might be Michael Carrick and or Darren Fletcher to.
But the statement that they came out with is that Michael Carrick will be the interim of an interim, basically, because I'm saying he's gonna be the interim until they find someone for the rest of the season. Which
I think part of the thing is that, as we mentioned, a lot of the guys that they want to get into the position, they aren't available right now, and they wouldn't be for a while.
Right.
You get me? Because Pochettino, for example, is somebody that they've been longing after. He's in a job.
Right.
You know, so it's not until the end of the season where it's more likely they can get somebody in. So I think, he's an interim to an interim because they're expecting that they'll probably just have somebody to hold him over till the end of the season. But it's not just Ole, though, because as it stands right now, a quarter of the managers that started this Premier League season have lost their job. Talking Steve Bruce from Newcastle, Nuno from Tottenham, and Daniel Farke and Dean Smith lost their job in the same weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They brought in new people, though, because, all right, kudos to the guys that came before and what they've done. Dean Smith and Daniel Farke have been very good for what they've done. Nuno didn't get a chance, to be honest. And Steve Bruce is just one of those older names in the sport. You have to give him respect because he's doing what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Plus, he's the best scoring centre-back ever to grace the Premier League.
So him also have him playing days too as well to get him respect.
Him get that respect.
But then, looking at the new, Antonio Conte in at Spurs, Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa, Eddie Howe is a man with all the cash in the world right now at Newcastle, and Dean Smith got that job immediately going to Norwich.
Right.
You know, so I mean, it's looking up for those teams at least.
Yeah. I'm very interested in seeing how Eddie Howe do at Newcastle. One, because of the funds, as you say.
Right.
Hopefully, them open the books a little bit at least in January for him. But I'm interested to see if he finds the form with Callum Wilson and Fraser that he had at Bournemouth.
Right.
Because I saw they came out and was backing the signing of him or whatever. So I hope him can get them back to form and think, because I'm admiring Newcastle right now.
I mean, Callum Wilson he's been doing all right. So I think we'd probably, if he get like a decent strike partner, could be one of those dangers. Like Shane Long once upon a time, man like Charlie Austin, those strikers that are in those slightly, but them really dangerous.
What Danny Ings was a couple of years ago.
Right, like Danny Ings and them, man, you get me? So you have to be careful with them guys. But I think Eddie Howe is a decent manager. They spoke of him a lot, in the British media, how it is. They talk up their own people. So I'm not sure how much of the hype was just hype, but we'll see what he actually does in that setting. But then it's not just in England, of course, because over in Spain, there's another significant change. There's this idea of the returning club legend.
I see that happening a lot.
And they have not that much experience, but they're the club's man. You know what I mean? Chelsea and Lampard, Ole and United, Arteta and Arsenal. You know what I mean? So they're the club guys. These are company men, as they'd call them. So now Xavi coming at Barcelona, you wonder if he's gonna be the latest failure, because they didn't all work.
True. As it relates to Xavi, my thing with it is this. Yes, it hasn't worked out for the others, especially in English Premier League. However, Barcelona has this thing of, it's normally successful there. When they do it, for some reason it's successful there. I don't know if it's a case of, because they are like Ajax in a way, where
they have a philosophy.
You're right. The same Johan Cruyff philosophy. It stems through the two teams. So I guess that's why it works for them. And Xavi understands that better than anyone else in the world right now. So
there's a direct link, between man like Cruyff and then Pep and Xavi himself.
Exactly. So I think it will work. I'm almost sure it will. I like what he's doing with the young players over there. Koeman started it, of course, and I was a fan of Koeman. But I think it should work.
I'm not worried about him, to be honest, because I think he's all right. Pep is seen as a genius, fine. Whether you agree or you disagree is up to you. But
I disagree.
right, like I said, it's up to you. But Xavi, I think, is in a similar kind of vein as Pep. He might just come in, him know the club inside and out. He's been there for him, play alongside Pep himself.
Right.
You get me? He'll come in and do what he needs to do, and I actually think he'll be fine. You know, I don't know about the other legends, how it managed for them, or you know, in terms of what went wrong or went right. But I think Xavi is, because Barcelona, as you say, is so much more than a club. I think Xavi is probably the best man to do it right now. And he still has some of the older guys there, you know, Piqué and right, Busquets and Alves come back with it.
Right.
So, you know, so they have those guys to kind of help bring through some of that old form. All right. But we're going to talk about, first of all, the qualifiers that Jamaica has left to come. We're looking at 7 points in 6th position with 6 games left to go. 4 of those are at home. That's a lot of numbers, but it sounds positive is what I'm saying.
We're not going.
You think so?
We're not going.
But I have faith.
We've made a, first of all, we've made a shambles of the hiring or firing or sticking with our coach
we'll
to
come
begin
to that, and we'll come to that.
On the field, I saw a couple of things in the US game where I say, you know, with a more fearless coach, which it's clear that we can be one of the better teams in CONCACAF.
We are.
You get me? Squad-wise, we are.
We should be.
But on the pitch, you know, so I don't know. It's either if you're going to stay with the guy, come out and tell us, say, yo, this is the guy. You get me? So the player them can adjust and say, all right, I could just do what we have to do, because we have 6 games left, whatever it is. I could just run with him.
Well, I mean, whoever is in charge, like we said, we have 6 games left, and we're talking about 4 home games.
All right.
We should still get there.
One of those 4 home games is thing there, Mexico.
Yes.
So we have 3 home games.
Well, in my mind, if I'm thinking about it in terms of possibilities, I think we just need to win 3 more games to kind of give ourselves that strong position. It's not guaranteed, but I think if we win 3 more games, because we will be playing some of those teams that are ahead of us, I think it gives us a strong position to launch from.
I'm not hopeful. I really am not. I want to be, you know, but it's just a shambles at JFF. Every day, every week, I come here, I talk about it. I'm tired of talk about it. You get me? Like, it's a shambles over there.
Well, the latest one with the coach is probably the worst, I think, because it just shows how indecisive they are at times, you know. All you had to do was come to a decision, literally, come to a decision and say yes or no. And if yes, support fully.
Exactly.
If no, move on quickly.
That's what I'm saying. And how are you going to make a mess of that? And not even behind closed door you make a mess of it. You also come in the media and was like, we couldn't make a decision as the admin, so it's transferred over to the what?
Yeah.
Come on, fam.
I mean, it's a procedure still, because I think if it was a unanimous decision amongst the technical committee, they would have just went to that decision. But because it wasn't, they went to the executive. But it still reeks of ineptitude, to be honest. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a debate. It's one or the other.
All right, do this for me. Lay out how we qualify for the World Cup.
Well, like I said, we have to win at least 3 more games.
So win 3, lose 2.
No, we're not going to lose. You don't go out to go lose.
Paint the picture. All right, paint the picture for me. Give me hope. What me I gonna need for what me need to put in my head? Say, yeah, this way I gonna do, and we are gonna qualify.
We had fans in the stadium for the US game. I think if we played that game at the US, or frankly anywhere else, we'd have lost that game.
Okay.
But the players themselves and even the opponents afterwards said that the fans were a contributing factor. You get me? I think with the fans in the stadium, with all that excitement, that's one factor that cannot be overlooked, right? The players, as we established, because you said it yourself, are one of the best teams in the region. So we have a good team. We have fans on our side. We're playing the direct opponents, right? We now play El Salvador and get to, you get me? So we're playing direct opponents. It's not just 2 games, a 4 game out of 6 at home. Come on. In my mind, we just need to do what we need to do. And what we need to do is get some points on the board.
Right.
To get points on the board, as I said, we need a slightly more fearless manager. A fearless manager, or just somebody that puts the right team together. And that's consistently. It doesn't have to be the best players in the world coming out all the while. If you have a consistent team that has a chemistry together, that are able to actually string together passes, that are able to put together a performance and get the results that are required.
So, so in other words, we need, if we're going to stay with Tappa, we need Tappa to change the mindset of we're going to go in another game and not to lose. And actually go for the game. If we do that, obviously we can win any game we play. Because the only team I think match up with us, personnel-wise, is USA. And we got that out the way in terms of we end up getting a draw and all of that. So I feel like if we do go out with the fearlessness and say, yo, we are going to be the dominant team for every game we play against. We should be able to get at least that 3 wins that you say we need. 2 draw and a L. We'll take a L.
You can afford to. Because
so,
like I said, we shouldn't go out for...
But that's also dependent on the others above we. Because
but that's what I'm saying. We're playing some of those guys as well. The only one that we're not playing, or the only 2 anyways, is Canada and the USA, because we played the USA already.
But we're like 7 points off. So even playing them once, we'll cut it down to 4 points.
But remember, say 16th is first, 15th is second, 14th is third and fourth. So we're just behind everybody at the same time. And we're playing those guys. That's what I'm saying to you.
7 points is like a 3-game swing, you know. We need 3 games to go.
3 games to win.
Yeah, but that's that's us.
That's 3 games against them.
1 against each.
So how much game
each of them? The thing is, each of them are lead by 7 points. The 2, third place and fourth place, will lead by 7 points. So we'll play 1 of them. We'll beat them. That cut it down to 4 for them. We'll not play them ever again. So we have to depend on them for lose more game and drop more points.
I never say we must go through. I say we put it in a good position. No, but you're
supposed to give me hope.
So I hope that I can't give you hope, I can't give the future, brother. I don't know what happen. But as I tell you, so we have a chance. If we win 3 games, you get me? If we win 3 games and let's say them drop points elsewhere, and we win, we game them what we're supposed to win, we have a chance.
Fair enough. I'll hold on to it. I'll hold on to it.
Crystal ball now work. I just can't tell you what we need to do. That's all I can say. But I mean, it's not. Has it been all bad with Tappa in all this time though? It was 4 years now in the job, 5, and that is distinct because he's been here before.
The conversation with Tappa is like deja vu for me with the Ole thing, because it's the same thing in terms of you did a good job with it. You took us to where you can, and I think now you're reversing what you did. You're staying here. You get me?
Staying too long.
Right, exactly. And I think it's...
well, it probably didn't start from Batman, but what I'm saying is, you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
Right, exactly. So that's what is going on with both of them. I'm hoping that JFF make the right decision, get somebody in that will be fearless, or give him a talk and say, yo, watch out, boss man. We have one of the better team them.
So outside of fearlessness,
I think that's all that's missing.
That's
because
all quality that
first of all, just put in player them on the field. All you need to do is tell them, say, this is how we want to play, whatever.
Them.
But the tactics don't need to be that. We're massively, there's a big gap between our talent and the other talents that are in the CONCACAF dog. We're not just say this just because we're Jamaica. It's obvious. You see me, we ball at them, I dominate BPL and them thing. Well, EPL and them thing there. So just put them on them out there, give them basic instructions, and them will do the thing. Them will do the do. You get me? We can easily get 4 wins out of the next 7 games. Out of the next 6 games.
So a coach that isn't so defensive in the sense that them going at games and say let's not lose, but going at games and say we could play with football. You have a great CDM. Well, I won't say great, but a very good CDM in Grant. Put Grant there, put Ravel and a next box-to-box man next in front time and say, yo, go win the game. Because Grant with Low and anyone at the other centre back them standing around there with the wing backs them pushing up. The team is... I don't understand how we not perform on the field, bro. Honestly. It is a bit of a mystery, but as I said before, I think if we get some consistency, because remember, say even some of the top man them not there consistently for one reason or the other. You get me? We had more of them this time around, and they played together, and it looked pretty good. We should have won the El Salvador game,
We
right?
should have won the USA game.
We should have won. We actually,
Sure.
if you ask me, that one was stolen from us because we put two
Right.
legit goals in the back of the net, and one was chalked off. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, we're talking about a better performance when we have the better players and the consistency of those better players in the team. So I just think that if we just continue along that trend, we should be all right.
I got take your word for it and put a little work back in the system, because trust me, bro, it's deflating. It's very deflating.
That means you're not there much then. A stadium for cheer them.
No, man, I'm going to, okay. The only reason why we missed the next one is because I never fully mask up. You see what I say? But I fully mask up now, so nothing can miss me. I got there because I'm a country at the end of the day. You see me? So it's the same as Ole. I want him to win, so I go support him throughout. But knowing in my head say it's more hope than I think him can do it. So it's the same. I got there.
Right.
You see me? I support the team same way.
But to your point about our players and doing things properly, some of it starts from before that. I think some of it starts from the youth development. Well, not some of it. Most of it starts from youth development. One of the articles up on the website right now is a look at the schoolboy football system and whether or not we should be rethinking just how we go about doing that in terms of can we get more out of them. That is out of the season, out of the competitions rather, and out of the youth players that develop from it. It's under 19, right? So we're talking about by the time they're finished, they're 20.
They're man, basically.
Yeah. At this point, they should be getting into the football world in a serious level. But yet still, when they get out of schoolboy football, we're looking at what may as well be 16-year-olds.
Right. True.
In terms of their development.
Right.
You get what I mean? Comparatively. And then when you look at what's available in the region, in terms of Mexico and USA, who are the two top teams in the region, these guys when their players are 19, they're in the MLS already. Yeah. They're in a Liga MX club.
All right.
The system that they have to progress their youth is much better. First of all, you play schoolboy football for 4 months, right? And then when they're done, the pinnacle of your career afterwards, until if you go foreign, is play for Waterhouse.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not cast aspersions on the Jamaica Premier League, but the National Premier League. But I mean, it's not the best. If you want to build a set of players for go challenge on the international stage, you need more than that.
My main thing with the schoolboy football thing is not necessarily life after high school.
Right.
It's more of life throughout high school. Because you're going at the schoolboy football season. You train, you're going to your camp and whatever for whatever amount of months you do. You play the season done. That's it. You're now focusing on other things, schoolwork. You're focusing on you're just the home now do nothing most time because the coach them now got train you outside when them need to. So it's little things like that. That's like 6 months you take up of no kind of development at all.
Right.
You see me? I go up on the road, go play some ball game with your friend in my yard. And that not do nothing for you really. So that is my main thing with it. Not life after, but throughout the life of your life in high school. What are you doing? What's happening to you?
Because that's one of the things that the article actually talks about in terms of extending the season or maybe including some other kind of regional competition, so to speak, in the sense of getting some of those top players from the schoolboy football competitions and then put them into, say, a team that represents a particular region of a parish and then have them playing in a competition again. You get me?
Yeah.
So it's like you keep them engaged, you keep them, because you only ever get better if you train more and if you get more games.
Right.
But when you play and then you have to consider, say, man would play match now till the end of the group stage, don't make it through to the next round of the competition, them go into the Walker Cup or the Ben Francis, and then them play, if them even play a couple of games out of that, then that's it. And that's their whole season.
Right.
You get me? And they start training, well, some of them start training from maybe April, May. But you start training from, say, April, May, and your season done by October.
And then that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And that's a competition level. Because you are training, but that's competition level you're done from October. That can't work. It's stuff like that the article gets into. We won't get into it too much right now, but some of the other articles that are up on the website right now include examining the JFF's recruitment problem, crucial run of fixtures for the Reggae Boyz, who should be the next Manchester United manager, and contrasting ambitions. Manchester United lack what Spurs desire. You can go out on 876stream.com and check out some of those. All right, well, that's that. But you have other grievances with our World Cup qualifiers. I think particularly with none of the players, but the man in the middle. What's your problem there? What makes sense to you this week?
Jamal, we spoke earlier about the teams ahead of us in the group. You can name the two direct above we.
So Panama is in 4th and Costa Rica is in 5th.
Costa Rica is in 5th. How much points Costa Rica depend?
9 points.
How much points we depend now with that job?
7.
So if we did win, how much points would that depend?
I think it would have been a 9 actually.
So we would have tie with Costa Rica on points.
Yeah.
So me in that situation as Jamaica, and you go look for me and give me a Costa Rican referee. You are gonna look for my nation and give me a Costa Rican referee. So me score a goal and me get a penalty and me not get none of them there because what? You Costa Rican. So you for just mess up my chances of going to World Cup. And now my hope down because you decide to Damian loaded for somebody when leave the touch. My you hear me I say, Kankakov, una gonna need to sort out this in a higher. Cause this can't happen in a higher. You see me? You can't have me pan my I'm stage, me in my house, me scream out, my throat to a gun. Me not throat to a higher.
All right. So that's the end of this week.
Did I really just say that?
My throat to a gun. Thank you so much for joining us for the third half podcast by 876 Stream. My name is Jamal Tucker again, and this is Javon Gapur with me. Gap, you all right?
Yeah, man, all is well.
You good? Just to make sure you sound like you'd have some trouble before. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Stream876, at Instagram at 876Stream. Slight difference, just be careful with that. Check out our website at 876stream.com for some of the articles that we've mentioned before and others by our insightful writers. The audio version for this podcast will be available at anchor.com and Spotify. Just search the Third Half Podcast and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that's it for this week. Any final words, Gap?
All is well, man.
All right, and we'll see you next time.